On Fanalysis, we combine the analytics of fantasy football with the fast-moving betting trends to find the sharpest angle for your betting weekend. And joining me is the Chief Product Officer at the Quant Edge, Eliot Crist. Once again, good to have you in studio again, buddy.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah? Are you excited for this week? Because we're starting with the game that everybody wants to lay money on right now. The game that has seen the most action of the weekend. The Patriots 3-point favorites against Baltimore. The line has moved from 4.5. Is that an indicator of to which side the sharps are lining up on?
Yeah, the money's coming in on the Ravens, but I don't think that's the right side. You know, I know there's been a lot of talk about this Patriots defense hasn't played anyone good, and that's fair, right? Luke Falk is not a great quarterback. They've dominated some bad teams, but that's what you're supposed to do, right? They say good teams win, great teams cover, and the Patriots cover. They've been winning games by more points than the Dolphins are losing games, and the Dolphins are trying to lose games.
But this is a Ravens team that should be the chief competitor for the Patriots in the AFC. Their strength of schedule steps up a little bit here with the Ravens.
100%. And if the Patriots dominate this game the way I expect them to, people are going to ease up on they haven't played anybody.
Okay.
And historically, the way you beat Tom Brady is by getting pressure on him, right? So you look at a guy that's completing about 75% of his passes from a clean pocket, only 32% when he's getting pressured. But the Ravens are bottom 5 in adjusted sack rate. This vaunted Ravens defense, you know, that's the thing of the past. They're not really getting pressure on the quarterback. And on offense, the Patriots, if they can stop Lamar Jackson running the ball, should be in great shape. Yes, Lamar Jackson is an amazing fantasy player. Yes, he's an amazing athlete. But after those first two games, we've seen his passing numbers really come back down to earth, where his interception rate is now higher than his touchdown rate.
I think the biggest note right there is right at the top. The Patriots would be 3-4 this year if the offense didn't play a snap. That's how good this Patriots defense is. However, they are going against a Ravens team that is number 1 in rushing.
100%. And I think that they're going to 100% focus on trying to take away that running game. And that's what the Patriots historically have been really good at doing, is finding your strength and figuring out a way to take it away and make you win in another way.
But that's just it, is that the Patriots' run defense is on the bottom third right now. So you'd have to think that that would be a path, at least, for the Ravens to find victory.
100%. I also think that it's a little bit lower because of how good their pass defense is. Okay. And they kind of funnel you into that run offense. And quite frankly, rushing is less effective than passing, and Bill Belichick knows that, so that's what he wants you to do. But I think he'll be able to take away the Ravens, or I should say limit, and their offense will be able to move the ball down the field, and I think they'll win by over a touchdown in this one. All
right, so let's move on to the Lions. 2.5-point road dogs in Oakland. If there's one key metric to identifying exploitable matchups, it seems like this is a dream week for Stafford and the Lions against the passing attack.
Yeah, so the Raiders cannot stop the deep ball. 17% of the passes that travel 15 or more yards in the air go for touchdowns against the Raiders. That's really bad. Teams are averaging over 17 yards per attempt on those passes.
Wow.
No quarterback in the league throws more deep passes than Matthew Stafford. So this is a dream come true for him. You know, the Lions wanted to be a run-oriented team. Kerryon Johnson's out. Trey Carson may not play in this one either. And you know, that means that they're going to take shots down the field, and that's what the Raiders have really struggled to do. And on the other side of the ball, what the Raiders want to do is they want to establish the run, right? Mike Daniels may come back for the Lions, but the biggest one for me is Rodney Hudson, the All-Pro, Pro Bowl center for the Oakland Raiders. He looks like, or he's out for this one. And you look at the numbers, and their yards per carry jumps from 4.9 to 3.7. So they go from elite run offense to a very mediocre one. And if they can't establish the run, I think the Lions are going to come out and dominate this game.
That's the amazing thing, is in this passing attack, I guess, league, it's still about whether or not you can establish the run. There's also one other note here I want to make on the Raiders. The Raiders haven't played in Oakland in 6 weeks. Their record certainly shows that, but I just wonder do we give too much weight to the travel schedule of a team, or is that something that should be a little bit of a red flag?
I think it matters. It's not the end-all, be-all. I think it's one of those situations where people tend to put too much weight on it. You know, they do have time to travel. They do have time to adjust. But, you know, it's not ideal to not go 6 weeks without a home game.
Right.
But
and they did actually officially have a home game.
In London.
It was in London. Yeah.
I don't know why teams do that, but that's another conversation for another day.
I don't think they want it, that's for sure.
The owner wanted it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's for sure. All right, let's get to Cleveland here. 3.5-point favorites in Denver. The Broncos defense has been solid so far this year. 80% of the tickets and the money are on the Browns side. Do the metrics line up with the Sharps?
They sure do.
Okay.
You know, it's funny that we talk about how the Patriots have had this easy schedule, but no one wants to talk about the Browns' last 5 games. You know, Patriots, Niners, Seahawks, Rams. They've played some of the top teams in the NFL, and they've been competitive in a lot of those games. Yes, they got blown out by the Niners, but the Browns take on a Broncos team that is without their star tackle in Juwan James. He's been out most of the year, but he makes a huge difference. And no Joe Flacco. Brandon Allen is going to be the starting quarterback this week. Chris Harris basically said, yeah, I don't want to comment on my thoughts on him because that'd be unfair for him. So that's not a positive quote for him. And, you know, the Broncos' offensive line has been a bottom 6 pass blocking unit, and the Browns' defensive line is where they win in this game. They're going to dominate up front. They're a top 5 team in terms of getting to the quarterback. And they get Grady Williams and Denzel Ward back, which is huge. Those are their 2-star corners. You know, fast guys can take away big plays. And there's no Emmanuel Sanders.
That's the key right there. That's the one missing ingredient to that Broncos offense that should push you to the Brown side.
I mean, you look at a team that's averaging about 6 yards per pass attempt with no Emmanuel Sanders on the field this year. And now you go to Brandon Allen, and you're out your star tackle, and you're going up against a team that gets after the quarterback. And Baker Mayfield, yes, he's not been good this year, but he's also had some bad lucks with interceptions. You know, he has a.
Well, that's the thing is that when you look at his numbers, he actually does have. He has 12 interceptions. He leads the NFL with 12 interceptions. Him and Jameis Winston both with 12.
Right, and Winston has 21 interceptable passes compared to Mayfield's 12. So it tells you he's got a little bit of bad luck on his side.
How do they measure that metric of what an interceptable pass is versus one that was just picked off?
So, like, for example, the Antonio Callaway one on Monday Night Football, where it hits him in the hands and then it goes. That's not necessarily an interceptable pass.
So it's like the Eli Manning interceptions, the ones that end up getting tipped and then picked off.
Exactly,
versus just a bad read.
Or another situation is like, you know, you throw a ball and the pick gets dropped. That's an interceptable pass.
Okay.
So there's a lot of time. It's kind of when you're due for positive or negative regression on turnovers.
And Baker Mayfield with the interceptions, you're not too afraid about that right now, huh?
No, I think he'll bounce back. He may throw one in this one, but ultimately I think they'll be able to control the ball with Nick Chubb. They'll be able to get Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry involved, and they'll win this game by about a touchdown.
All right, sometimes the best play isn't the spread. Sometimes the best play is the over-under. So let's look at that Panthers-Titans game. 41.5 points. Do you see an angle here?
Yeah, I think this game's too low. This Panthers team with Kyle Allen in their last 5 games, the totals are averaging 54.5 points. And that's way over this number. And the Titans are kind of a pass funnel team. They're top 6 against the run. They do struggle to cover pass catching backs. And the Panthers have that guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, Christian McCaffrey, who's decent at catching passes. But Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore are going to give the Titans problems on the outside. And the Titans are going to be able to run the ball down the throat of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have this elite pass rushing unit, but you can run right up the middle on them. They have the 30th best explosive run rate allowed, so that's 3rd worst.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry is top 4 in explosive run rate. So he's going to go and hit a bunch of big plays in this one. The Panthers are going to be able to move the ball. There are probably going to be some turnovers, but sack, strips, fumbles, put the other team in scoring position. I anticipate this game going over.
And we've seen Derrick Henry go crazy before, especially against teams like this where you don't lay a hit on him until he gets to the second level. He can explode into the secondary, and you try to get a corner to bring him down. Somebody, what is he, 260? Good luck trying to bring that guy down.
He's one of the biggest people in the NFL. And so he's not a human being.
He is without a doubt the biggest running back in the NFL right now, and I think it's almost impossible to try to bring him down with anything other than a linebacker or a defensive lineman. But I do want to get real quick your idea on the spread here. The Panthers are 3.5-point favorites when we look at the spread. Which way would you lean on the spread here?
I would lean the Panthers. I think the Panthers are the right side of this. I think they're the better team. But I do think that there will be points scored in this game. That's the side I feel more confident on.
All right. That's a look at his top plays of the week. Make sure you check out our other segments on his leans and his toss-up bets. For Eliot, Crist, and of the Quant Edge, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.